It hits you without warning. You walk into a room, everyone turns to look, or you are caught in a tiny, awkward lie, and immediately you feel it, a sudden wave of heat rushing straight to your face. Your cheeks flush and your ears burn. No matter how hard you try to suppress it, you cannot stop the redness from spreading. Your conscious mind has absolutely no control over this physical reaction. Most bodily reactions, like sweating, shaking, or racing heart, happen for entirely physical reasons, such as cold temperatures, pain, or intense exercise. Blushing is exclusively triggered by what you think other people think of you. No chimpanzee, dog, or any other creature on Earth experiences this. It is a strictly human phenomenon. After decades of studying animal behavior and human evolution, Charles Darwin himself called blushing the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. Darwin spent years meticulously cataloging the biology of the face, analyzing exactly how muscles and blood flow create our involuntary expressions. This presents a strange biological contradiction. Evolution relentlessly prioritizes traits that help us survive and project strength. Yet our bodies developed an involuntary mechanism specifically designed to broadcast our internal vulnerability to everyone around us. The process begins deep inside your brain, in a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. This acts as your internal threat detection center, constantly scanning your surroundings. Normally, it listens for immediate physical dangers, a sudden loud noise, or a predator approaching fast in your peripheral vision. But for our ancient ancestors, survival also depended entirely on the group. Being embarrassed, judged, or rejected by the tribe meant isolation. Out on the prehistoric savanna, isolation almost certainly meant death. Millions of years later, your amygdala still treats a social misstep with the exact same urgency. To your brain, being the center of unwanted attention is treated as a dangerous physical attack. The moment your brain registers this social threat, it pulls the emergency alarm. It activates your fight or flight response and floods your system with adrenaline. A blush is a primal, life-or-death biological survival sequence violently misfiring because of modern social friction. If adrenaline floods your entire body, you might wonder why your hands or feet do not turn red. The reaction is intensely isolated to your face, neck, and upper chest. The skin on your face contains an extraordinarily dense network of tiny blood vessels called capillaries. These specific capillaries are packed with specialized targets known as beta-2 adrenergic receptors. These receptors are exquisitely sensitive to adrenaline. When the hormone hits them, the vessels violently dilate, opening wide and instantly filling with a massive rush of blood. This sudden expansion is commanded directly by your sympathetic nervous system. The signal travels from your spine straight to your facial blood vessels in less than a second, completely bypassing your conscious thought. This creates a brutal psychological trap. The second you notice your own face getting hot, your conscious brain realizes people can see your embarrassment. Your amygdala registers this awareness as an entirely new social threat. Now you are embarrassed about being embarrassed. The brain dumps a second wave of adrenaline into your bloodstream, forcing those facial capillaries to dilate further and turn an even darker shade of red. Because the nervous system pathway is completely involuntary, fighting the urge to blush only arms the brain with more evidence of a threat, guaranteeing a much worse physical reaction. If this reaction is so uncomfortable, uncontrollable, and creates a self-sabotaging loop, we are back to our original question: why did human evolution keep it around? Researchers have found that this biological quirk is actually an incredibly sophisticated, highly advantageous social tool. This chart shows the results of behavioral studies measuring how people are perceived after making a public mistake. Individuals who blush during an awkward situation are consistently judged far more positively by their peers than those who show no reaction at all. People rate those who blush as more honest, trustworthy, and socially aware. Because you cannot consciously command your sympathetic nervous system, the red face acts as a built-in, unfakeable signal of social conscience. Humans can easily manufacture a fake smile, project false confidence, or offer an empty apology. A blush is your body's involuntary honesty. For those who want to reduce how often this happens, surgical options exist to cut the nerve pathway, but they are extreme. The most effective, non-invasive method is psychological, a technique called cognitive reframing. When you simply accept the blush instead of trying to suppress it, your brain stops interpreting the attention as a dangerous threat. That cuts off the secondary supply of adrenaline, allowing the redness to naturally fade. In a modern world saturated with curated personas and carefully masked intentions, this uncontrollable flush proves you care. It is the ultimate biological indicator of genuine, empathetic humanity.